Hello, it's Kathy again, and I'm not showing my face this time because I want to share some of more of the beauty of where I am spending my day. I don't really call it a day off because every day is a joy for me. Even when I'm doing my spiritual business, it's not work. This is just a beautiful little rock I'm on here, and there's my feet. I'm earthing. And down here, you can see that we have a drop off. And that's why I'm perched right here, like a big old human bird. There's some hydro energy right there. Usually, I shouldn't say usually, often, this area, these falls, all across the rocks there, are just full of water coming over. And we've had so much rain this year here in West Virginia. I'm surprised it's not fuller today, but it's not. And it's beautiful anyway, and the energy is so special here. So I thought that I would continue just a little bit more talking about the Shaw, but instead of putting all the focus on the Shaw, I want to talk more about the families of light. And that's a term that I use, and I've heard others use it. Some have picked it up from me, and others, it's just a natural progression of terms, I guess. There we have somebody coming in from swimming. So anyway, families of light. First and foremost, what I consider to be families of light are all of the various dimensional aspects of my soul. And that's exactly what I call those parts of my soul, are either versions of myself, versions of my soul, or aspects with the capital A, please. So anyway, that's my first and foremost family of light, are the aspects of my soul that are infinitely me, expressing in different dimensions and different time zones. And then there's the greater family of light. So I guess I would call that the nucleus of my onion, or the nucleus of my labyrinth. But then on the next outer circle are the star lineages, which make up who I am in any lifetime as a human. So when we were created according to Judy Satori, and I agree with her. I agree with the information. It resonates as being absolutely true, that we were created as an experiment of some sort. And maybe there were different versions of us. I think there may have been over eons of time and epochs and eras. But nonetheless, here we are now, fragmented. And so we're unable to communicate in any one lifetime with all 12 star lineages that make up the human being that we are as the 12 strand DNA human. We're fragmented. After the fragmentations, the great fragmentation, the great fall, and ones following it, there were many, large and small, we were left with only 2 strands of DNA. You can really look at the strands of DNA, in my experience, as highways of communication. So you have one strand of DNA that's Pleiadian, and therefore you have at least one astral body that is Pleiadian, fully Pleiadian. You have another strand of DNA, we do, that is Arcturian. That one strand is the base frequency, the overall frequency and consciousness, qualities, abilities, and capabilities of the Arcturian dimension and beings and consciousness. And so it goes on and on that way. That's my second ring of families of light because these are direct connects. I'm directly connected to my soul. I don't need really need mediums or channels and things like that. I'm not putting that kind of thing down. Please don't get me wrong. When I talk about being careful about channeling, I'm not saying that I think it's bullshit. I think you just have to make sure that what you're listening to is resonating as probably accurate with your soul. So I spoke about that accuracy thing in my most previous video earlier today here at this beautiful place where I'm at. So those are my primary families of light when I talk about my families of light. But then we have other extensions that are, that we call guides and masters and, things like gurus that connect us to ethnic origins of beliefs and beings and gods and goddesses. And I have no doubt that those things are real and are living and are conscious. And depending on what ethnic origin you honor, most of the origins of Earth honor these beings in some way or another, or at least used to more than we do now. So that would be like a third ring of extended families of light. But here's one thing I want to make very, very clear while I'm talking about extensions of our soul and other aspects and other versions of ourselves. I don't care if you're talking about Archangel Metatron, or you're talking about any of the other angels, or you're talking about group consciousness, or you're talking about beings that identify themselves as Shaw, or beings that identify themselves as Pleiadians. That all seems like it's happening outside of us, outside of ourselves, from the heavens, from the cosmos, in other words. And that's not accurate. Because we are a 12-strand DNA, with one strand to each star lineage of those 12, those beings are simply extensions of ourselves. There is nothing that is not you. And I know the brain cannot get that. And I'm human. I'm human too. I get it. I know that the brain just kind of like, pops, at this kind of thought. But there cannot be anything that is not you, because everything is connected at the 0 point level and then goes out into different pockets or spectrums of vibration and frequency. And the data, the experiences, the consciousness of each spectrum is going to be different than other spectrums. So my families of light are really aspects of my soul, and the same for every human. And that's what the Christ consciousness through the human Jesus, one of the things he was trying to tell us was to say, when he would say that, why can't you get it, you guys? The kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is not a place. It is a spectrum of frequencies and vibration of consciousness. Many levels and layers within that spectrum. And so I just think it's really important for us to remember that there is nothing outside of us that we call guides or masters or guardians or protectors that are not actually a part of us in a different vibrational consciousness and form if it is physical. So that is my take on the families of light. And I communicate with them all the time because, well, they are me. Sometimes I think, okay, what version of myself do I want to make most prominent today? Or what version of myself is thinking that? Ooh, I saw that thought. Oh, I see that doubt. Oh, I remember that memory. What part of me is remembering that? Yeah, well, I enjoy it. It may sound like really freaky, but I am the woo woo and the foo foo sometimes. So why not just dive into the woo and the foo and see what we can make of it, right? Okay, so woo woo foo foo to all of you too. And I'm going to sign off now because I don't want to spend my entire time here today doing videos. I want to take time for me. Sayonara and walk in peace.